Okay, so I'm Guy Fitzpatrick. I'm signing on, doing another video, because I realize I have not done one in quite some time. So I'm just gonna do a video, kind of like I did my original video, and just kind of give an update on my status and where I am with everything. So the last time, my last video, it was about 16 minutes long, and it kind of just discussed my beginning until kind of where I was. So to pick up from where I left off, because there is some updates, and again, I'm going for customs officer with Homeland Security as a GS9. I went through the direct hire process, which I believe I said that last time. So update. So again, September 6th, I was pending adjudication, and then from September 6th, I found out that my adjudication, my BI, my background investigation, was pending adjudication, and I didn't hear anything. So all of October, nothing. November, I didn't hear much, and then December came. December 3rd, I received a notice. On December 3rd, I received not a notice, I received an email from my adjudicator, and her name, I believe, was Ellis. I received an email from her telling her that she was in the final stages of adjudicating, of finding me suitable or non-suitable for the position. She had some questions for me that she sent me a direct email, and gave me 15 days to respond to the email. So obviously I took about 6 of those days to really think long and hard about what the questions were, and to make sure that I was extremely detailed in my approach for the questions. So with that being said, I formulated my response to the 3 questions that she asked, and I sent that off on December 11th. So when I sent that information off on December 11th, I sent that information off, and then December 12th, I received a response from her just stating that she had received the email and received the information that I sent over, and that she was going to process that, and that a suitability decision would be made ASAP. So in between there, from September all the way to December, I'm going to be honest, I just stopped checking CAS. I stopped checking the CAS app. I just kind of felt like it was increasing my anxiety to check it every single day, so I just nixed it. I said, you know what, the heck with this, I'm not going to feed into this. And I tried to stay as motivated as I possibly could. And again, if you're watching this, it's a long, dark process at times. And what I've discovered is there's no rhyme or reason to the length of time. So again, I started this process back in 2018 of October. We're 2020 January. So, I got a guy who started it early 2018. I know of a gentleman that started it 2019 and is somewhere similar to the same space as myself. So I encourage you all to continue to share. There's a lot of groups. I'm in a group chat right now with a couple of great guys, some customs officers and some border patrol officers. So if you're interested in that, comment on this video and we can kind of get you linked in. And it's more intimate, it's more personal. We do group chats, we exchange phone numbers, and just kind of tag and do stuff throughout the day. So long story short, so again, December 12th, Miss Ellis, my adjudicator, responded to my email just informing me that she had received it, and that she would be making a adjudication decision, be making that final suitability decision on whether or not I would be found eligible or non-eligible. So in between that time, I didn't check CAS, and then again with a group of people, but one of my guys reached out to me, who recently we exchanged numbers and exchanged emails. His name is Brian Brown, so I tip my hat to him. Extremely appreciative of that guy. He actually, we exchanged numbers and exchanged emails, email addresses, and he had actually sent me an email. I believe it was January 1, right after the celebration of the 31st. So I'm like, all type of hazed mind, you're doing adult stuff, having a great time. So long story short, he sent me an email on January 1. I didn't check it until January 2nd. And when I checked it January 2nd, his email had stated that he had checked his CAS, and indeed his background had cleared, and he was showing 75% in CAS now, with the only thing left for him to do would be you know what, I don't want to speak on that because I'm not 100% sure what's left for him to do, but I know he's just waiting on the offer pretty much. So with myself, Once I seen the email January 2nd, I went and checked my CAS, and lo and behold, I'm showing at 75%. My background has cleared. The only thing left for me to do is do my drug test, and then after that I will be receiving my final offer for the feds, which 100% I am going to accept. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The duty station that I picked, which I don't mind sharing, is Texas. I elected to go to Texas as a direct hire. However, it's been shared with me it's been shared with me from my recruiter that I've worked with through this entire process that things are still up in the air. Apparently, things aren't kind of concrete until you actually go ahead and you give that verbal consent of accepting the position and all that good stuff, and then you'll kind of go over your EOD dates, you'll go over duty locations, what's out there. It's been shared with me that there are some great opportunities and some incentives with certain locations, obviously attached to southern borders. I'm not sure about up north per se, whether it be Virginia, Buffalo, and stuff like that. But I've kind of been given the scoop that for the most part, you're going to, wherever your duty station is, you're going to be kind of locked into that area for about 3 years before you can even kind of move around. It wasn't told me that you can't move before 3 years, but it was shared with me that pretty much that's kind of the window of time that you're looking at, especially if you accept an incentive. So I'm not sure 100% if you accept the incentive that some of these locations come with huge lump sums of money, that locks you into the duty station for 3 years, because we were talking about huge incentives, but we were also just talking about duty stations in general, and him saying that it's typically about a 3-year window before you can kind of just move around and get to transferring around to different places, stateside or whatever. So I've been instructed by my recruiter, though I did pick Del Rio, Texas, but to definitely keep my options open and not to leave any money on the table. So I do appreciate that. So again, I found out January 2nd that I had cleared. Spoke to my recruiter just yesterday, actually. Had about a 35-minute conversation with him. And it was shared with me that I had actually cleared my background on December 28th. But because I wasn't checking CAS, there was no way I would have known that, because they weren't going to send an email. They were just going to update it in CAS. So I actually went green in CAS on December 28th for my background. And outside of that, I was told that this whole Fed process will be wrapped up for me come this month, which is January 2020. That I'll have my EOD dates within a couple of weeks, drug tests probably next week or something like that. They'll call. I have 48 hours to respond to that. Phone call to test within that 48 hours of when that phone call comes through. It was also shared with me that for my customs officers that are watching this, I don't really know about BPA much. I'm not going through Border Patrol. But for my custom officers, it is completely up to you. You all can strongly encourage to be put, you guys can strongly push to be put up in the academy sooner than later. Or you can push to be pushed back into a academy that's later in the year. I spoke to a recruiter out of Washington that's like a recruiter manager in Seattle, and he expressed that fiscal year 2020 obviously is it's funded for the fiscal year 2020 is funded for customs and everything like that, and academies will be running starting January, which we're in, every week, every 2 weeks, there will be a brand new academy, is what I received an email from the gentleman out there stating that they were putting that together, and that was in 2019. Back in November, that email came out and was just, he was just telling me about how the academies were going to be put together for 2020 to kind of get a lot of us in there. So I say to my customs officers, my fellow brothers and sisters of the cloth now, I say to you all that if you all want to go sooner, I've been told to express that. Once you get your call, say, hey, yeah, no, I can leave February if it's available. I can leave March if it's available. Or if you need more time, you want to work more, put a couple of more pennies in the bank, because obviously for my customs officers, you all know that once we receive our dates, you have 2 weeks at your duty station for pre-academy. So, for me, for about 2 weeks rental, 2 weeks in a hotel, plane, rental, I'm looking at about $2,200 to go from Ohio, to catch a plane from Ohio to Texas, if that's indeed where I stay. From Ohio to Texas, 2 weeks in a hotel, and then to make it back to Ohio, pick my car up where I will be driving to Georgia to Flexi. So that's going to cost me about $2,200, which when I calculated it out, looking at the stay, this is looking at hotels, looking at the rental for being down in Texas for the 2 weeks, looking at the plane ticket back, and then hustling over in my car from Ohio to Flexi, which is about a 13-hour ride for me from Ohio to Georgia, where we're going to be. So it's going to cost me about $2,300, which sounds about right. I price checked it and everything, and my buddy was telling me, who's already a customs officer, he's a GS-11 now, been in for 2 years now, and was just telling me that that's a little lump sum that you got up front, and then obviously wherever you're stationed at, if you're living in one state and you're going to be stationed in another state, then obviously you know it's on us initially to pay to move all of your own personal property. So if you're a guy with a family, or if you're a woman with a family and you're moving the kids and you're moving the house and you're moving multiple cars, you know, those things we have to pay for up front. So for my people that are in this process, please ensure that you are putting some money away. If you don't come from money and you're just a working middle class person or just a working individual, make sure you are setting some things away. So also, since I work for the state of Ohio, the state does not honor federal retirement. So I will be cashing out my state time and bringing that with me in a lump sum of money as well, because there's no need to leave it here in Ohio when I plan to retire from the feds. Homeland Security. So just ensure that you all are really working through the process, really speaking with your recruiters. They have a lot of information. There is a lot of incentives out there with a lot of extra money out there, good people. So please ensure you're reaching out to these recruiters. If you never had a recruiter, awesome. Go on the CAS app, look at the recruiters in these different areas, and start calling now. So myself, I'm going to elect to leave sooner than earlier. I'm going to ask to be expedited as soon as I receive my EOD dates, to ask to be put on the list, to in case somebody drops out or somebody else doesn't want to move as soon. I want to move as soon as possible. I want to get in the academy as soon as possible and get this over with. Honestly, so again, I'm prior military, 11 Bravo infantry, so I was a combat soldier. I don't really care for academies or basic trainings, honestly. when you've taken your L's and taken your beatings, it's just one of them things you don't want to do. So for me, I don't want to wait. I'd rather go ahead, do my time, do my notices at my job, get out of there, let that be done, go ahead and live in the gym. So I've been encouraged to ensure that my endurance is up. Right now I'm running about a mile and a half straight on the treadmill, and then I'm getting right off the treadmill, and then I'm hopping right on the elliptical for about 2.5 miles, just to keep my stamina, keep the lungs open, and then I'm going ahead and then I'm pushing weights and doing push-ups and stuff like that. So I encourage you all to get ready. For my people that watch my first video, I appreciate you. Please leave comments. Again, as a disclaimer, I do not know everything, but I will respond. I think my first video shows that I definitely will respond and try to help or assist with anything. Again, for my people that just started the process, please link up with us. Send me a little message or leave a comment on the video, and then I can get you my information and you can kind of join some of our chat groups. Again, these things have helped me. My anxiety has went from here to here, knowing that I am officially done. I am just waiting for a drug test, which it's a no-brainer. Would have not put over 13 months in this process, working as diligently as I have to screw that up. So I am beyond ready. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. But yeah, for the most part, good people, I have wrapped this thing up. I'm just waiting on my drug test, and I was told by my recruiter, welcome to the club. So it's kind of official, unofficial that, hey, I'm in there. So I'd like to give, I thank my recruiter. And again, please reach out, find yourself a recruiter ASAP, and figure out, especially if your job title, if their application set location negotiable, find it. Find a recruiter and start seeking out these options. If you don't have one and you want to speak to mine, no problem. I will shoot you his information. His name is Tom Russert. Beyond helpful. They can look you up on their laptops, get real not nasty, but get real personal with you by looking at where you are in the process and everything like that. They have all of our information. So again, I thank you for watching. I hope that my little 2 janky videos has helped out, and I've shared some knowledge and shed some light. So again, I'm Guy Fitzpatrick, and
This will not be my last video, because as soon as I get my drug test and pass that at my EOD dates, I'll be coming back with another video. So expect to see something from me this year, 2020 January, and I'll tell you where I ended up and where did I decide to go, and if I took an incentive and how that works. I'll speak on all of that. So again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Please feel free to leave a comment. Take care. Bye.